Hey everyone, thanks for joining me today. This is Joel Amer with Inflatable Office. Today we're going to be going over IO Phone and all it includes and some more details about it. So if you have any questions, I'll try to answer those as I see them come in. Feel free to just post, and if I don't get to them, then I'll answer them at the end. So yeah, just a quick overview of what it is. So IO Phone, we've had it for about 3 years now. It's one of the more powerful features we have. I don't believe any other rental software has this level of phone integration in their software, and so it's unique to ours. And we don't just integrate with another phone service, we actually manage your phone number and stuff. So when you're setting up and you're trying it out, you can just try it out with a test phone number, and it doesn't cost anything for that phone number, but you can configure things and make sure it's working the way you want. And then you'll port your company phone number into the system, and will act as your phone carrier. So the main advantages of using it is just that when we're integrated directly as your phone provider, we'll be able to know who's calling and what to do with that phone call. And so, for example, if a customer calls in and they are already working with a certain sales rep at your company, our software will know that and will be able to route the phone call directly to that sales rep. So no longer will you need that prompt where it says, hey, thanks for calling, press 1 for this person, press 2 for that person. We do still allow you to do that, but the idea behind it is that it'll auto route to the right person. So for example here, you can go into phone schedules, you can add a new schedule. And so here we might say like, okay, let's set up a phone schedule here for Lazy Joe. We can choose how on his phone, if it shows up like the company phone number or the customer's phone number for the caller ID. But from here, they can choose, when their availability is, and you can customize this for each worker. So if you have just a part-time sales rep or something that you want to get the phone calls when they're working, and when they're not working, you can want to have the phone calls routed to yourself or something like that. That's the idea behind this. You can even have like a ring delay. So for example, if the first person doesn't answer it right away, you can have a delay of like say 10 seconds, and then this person will get any phone calls that other person missed. But the big idea here is that you can have this ring filter set up. So for example, we could set this up and say we only want to ring Lazy Joe when he's the sales rep on the leads. And then we might set up another profile for Bob and have his schedule in here and say only ring it for Bob if he's the sales rep. You can also set up another schedule for like the day of the event. Instead of reaching the sales rep, they'll be reaching whoever the delivery driver is. And so these filters we can set up just like all our other filters here under, I've got other videos on filters, so you'll have to check those out if you want to see how that works. But you can filter based on almost anything in the software, and then use those filters to power the phone schedule and decide who to ring and when. So that's a real powerful feature. And you can turn off the phone schedules for certain people whenever you want. You can set up voicemails, the same idea. You can have a voicemail for, during business hours if somebody doesn't pick up and they're supposed to. It could say something like, hey, sorry, we missed your call. So, we are in the office. Someone will get back to you within whatever, half an hour. And if it's on the weekend or late at night or whatever you want, you can have a different voicemail come up that talks about if this is an emergency, if you do this or something like that. So lots of flexibility on the setup here with those ring schedules and what they can do. The other advantage here, so we've got this phone bar, and this is where you can control how phone calls are made. And so if you are wanting to call a certain customer and you're working in the system, you'll be able to pull up that lead, go to that particular customer here, and if you click their phone number, it'll update this, or you can just type in their name, and then you can hit dial to dial the phone number. So that way you're not having to type it into your phone and actually do all that manual work. It's designed to make that a little bit faster. I'm also going to show you what happens when a phone call comes in. The idea is that when a customer calls you, you won't have to search to figure out who that customer is, but the system will recognize it and be able to bring up their info, so you won't have to try to figure all that out. So when a phone call comes in, this phone bar will automatically light up like this. And then from here, you'll be able to decide if you want to view the leads for that account, or if you want to transfer it to another person, the transfer list will be here as well. But I went ahead and clicked on this view lead to bring up the lead for this client. And so here we can see this is the phone number or the person that was calling. Let me hang up here. Yeah, and so from here, when a phone call comes in, we also have this last contact attempt and last customer action data that's filled out, so that if you are calling them, it will update this last contact attempt. Same thing if you send an email or you leave a journal entry here. And then if the customer is trying to reach you or they send you an email, then it'll update this last customer action. And so this is really helpful for when you want to run filters to say, hey, who are all the leads in our system that have been trying to reach us, or that we haven't followed up in a while, or upcoming events that are happening in the next day and we haven't talked to them in a while. Let's get a list of those people. And so these different fields here are available through the filters, so I can take a look at those and make sure nothing's falling through the cracks. So you'll see those under here, under last activity date would be last time the customer's taking activity, and the last contact date is when your sales reps tried to contact them. So that's what those things are for. So like I said, really powerful in that you can pull up the leads when they're calling in, and you can keep track of those dates they've been contacted, which is really cool. We also have a lot of stats in the system that we can keep track of. So here under dashboards phone, you'll be able to see all the activity that's been going on, how many incoming calls, how many were missed, went to voicemail, received, place, and total duration. And so you can choose, to see whatever date range you want. You can see it by worker here, so you'll be able to compare how each sales rep is doing. Are they placing enough phone calls for the given period or not? Things like that. So we also have, I don't know if you've ever used Google Voice. You're familiar with how they'll send emails that come in. So we have those as well, where you can have alerts set on. So if a phone call is missed or a voicemail is received, you'll get an email with a transcription of the voicemail. And so that can be helpful as well. We also keep track of all of that stuff here in a log. And so you'll be able to see, so here's the phone calls that I was testing with. You'll be able to see that history of who it was that was calling, which worker's phone rang, whether they received it or not. If there's a text conversation going on here, you'll be able to see, that conversation as well. So same thing when you're actually working in the lead as well. Let me pull up that lead I was just on. So here in the CRM tab, we'll be able to have, you'll be able to see the duration of the phone conversation as well as any text that we received. So just having all that information in one spot, you'll be able to see all the communication, including emails as well, that you have communicated with that client. So instead of saying like, well, did we actually call him back? He's saying we didn't. You can look in here and be able to tell instead of having to find it some other way. We also have texting features. And so you can obviously text individual clients. You can come in here and say text. And then if you've got a template set up, if it's a common message you're sending, you can use that and just hit send. So this would send to an individual person. If you want to bulk send, if you want to say filter the event date, say let's give me all the events that are happening in the next X number of days, you can bulk text them as well. by doing this right here, by checking them all, and then you can either bulk email them or you can bulk text them as well. So there's all kinds of other things we can do here with our automations feature, where you can automatically have texts go out under certain conditions. So again, you would set up the filter and when it should happen. And then from here, you can say we want to text them this certain template, and it'll always go out. So lots of different options on there. So the next thing, got lots of planned upgrades as well. And you know, over the next couple of months, we'll be adding some other things to make the texting communication a little easier to use, as well as supporting more complicated phone tree situations. That currently right now we've got it set up where it's going to only call based on what your filters are set up. And you can have it work for certain extensions as well, like press 1 for this person, press 2 for that one. But if you want to do a complicated phone tree where it says, you know, press 1, and then you can press another extension to do this other thing. So those things will be coming in the future. And another request people have had is being able to do multiple phone numbers per company. Right now, you have to have a multi-location account to have more than one phone number on it, but we'll be adding some features for those things here in the next couple of months. So like I said, we've had this thing out for 3 years now, and we've been using it as our main phone system for that whole time. And it's definitely a powerful feature that you know, not too many companies are using. So it can be a big advantage to helping you stay organized and automated as much as you can, and make sure that your team is doing everything they're supposed to. So if you have any questions or want me to go over anything that I didn't go into detail enough, let me know here on the comments, and I'll try to do that now. So bear with me a minute as I figure out how to pull up these Facebook comments. Okay. Yes, Carlos says any time clock updates coming soon. Well, it's not really related to IO phone, Carlos, but it is in the works. Yes, we are working on the time clocks for workers as well. I don't know exactly when that will be done, but probably before summertime. So that is another thing that's in progress. And I didn't mention this before, but the IO phone integrates with all of our other add-ons as well pretty well. So like, you know, if you have workers in CRM, a lot of those things I was showing you are needed. You don't have to have workers in order to use IO phone. We'll give you a trial so you can get the setup part of it done. But if you've got more than a few employees, it definitely would be helpful. Same thing with CRM. You don't really have to have it to use IO phone, but you're going to be missing a lot of the advantages of it if you're not using that feature. And so anyway, yeah, like I said, we've got dozens of companies that are using this already and finding lots of advantages. And, you know, hopefully this will be helpful for you guys too. And I think that's all the questions at the moment. So if you have any other ones after you're watching this, you can just leave them in the comments and I'll try to address them as we get them. So thanks for joining me.